worries. Is my mic on? Awesome. Good afternoon. The January 13th, 2026 meeting of the Seattle City Council will come to order. It is 2:02 p.m. I'm Joy Hollingsworth. I'm the council president. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Juarez.
Here.
Councilmember Kettle.
Here.
Councilmember Lynn.
Here.
Councilmember Rink. Councilmember Rivera.
Present.
Councilmember Saka. Here. Councilmember Strauss.
Here.
Councilmember Foster.
Here.
Council President Hollingsworth.
Here.
8 present.
And let the record reflect, please excuse Councilmember Rink until she gets here. There are no presentations for today. And colleagues, at this time, we're going to open up the hybrid public comment. Public comment is limited to items on today's agenda and the introduction referral calendar. Clerk, how many speakers do we have signed up?
We have 23 in person and 2 remote.
Awesome. Everyone, thank you so much. Everyone's going to get 2 minutes today. Clerk, I'm going to hand it over to you to present the instructions, and I will call on the registered speakers.
Speakers will be called in the order in which they are registered. We will alternate between sets of in-person speakers and remote speakers. Speakers will hear a chime when 10 seconds are left of their time. Speakers' mics will be muted if they do not end their comments within the allotted time to allow us to call on the next speaker. We will now begin with our in-person commenters.
Awesome, and it's a tradition of this body to call on either current elected speakers or former, and I know that Councilmember Sawant, you are here. Would you like to speak first, or would you like to remain, I think you're number 19 on the list. Okay, awesome, thank you so much. We will call up speakers one by one. First person, and let the record reflect, we are joined by Councilmember Rink. First up, we have Curran Hogue, and I apologize if I'm butchering your name. Curran, followed by Yvette Dinish, and then Alexander Dean, thank you so much for the correction, and then Justin Bear.
Hi, does this work?
Yes, you're good. And wait, well, can we restart your time? Okay, you're good.
Okay. Thank you. Dear council members, in particular, Eddie Lynn, our local council member, thank you for the work that you do. We, Cliff and I, are Seattle residents on the South Side who are deeply concerned about what the master plan is for when ICE mobilizes to occupy our city. Please be proactive in coordinating a unified and powerful coalition to protect our immigrant communities and all Seattle residents. We want you to be in a room or a Zoom call with other council members, Mayor Wilson, City Attorney Evans, Public Safety Committee Chair Kettle, Police Chief Barnes, Governor Ferguson, as well as Senators Murray and Cantwell and Representative Smith and Jayapal. Do not wait. Do not wait. Do it this week. As we have seen in Minneapolis, the federal government is moving at lightning speed. ICE is executing people on the streets, violating human rights, and going door to door to hunt immigrants. They are establishing fascist rule before our eyes. We are in the night of the long knives, when Hitler consolidated power by eliminating resistance to his regime. Trump is doing the same under ICE, and they will kill us and strip us of our rights. If we don't act now, this may be the inflection point of no return, where we, as Americans, lose our choice to further resist and defeat this repressive government. Do not wait. Act now and let us know how you will protect us. Thank you. In solidarity, Karen Hogue and Clifford Cohen.
Thank you, Karen. Miss Yvette, followed by Alexander Dean. Got you.
Greetings, council member. I should have come last week because you guys had food afterwards and I did not know that. So thank you, Council President. Congratulations. Kudos to Dan Strauss. I recently learned that you're also on the board of Sound Transit. So you're a very busy guy. You go for it. And then to Councilmember Kettle, I work with Subpoena Ford in the South End with Repair Me Store Missionary Outreach. And she told me that she worked with you and she has nothing but high regard for your collaboration. I also want to go ahead and pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Regarding, I saw an article recently from Naomi Ishisaka in the Seattle Times that in 2024, the Beersheba Park, on which I was at committee to get it going, the structure was damaged by a heavy windstorm, and they're talking about not getting it repaired until 2027. Quite frankly, this is not acceptable because there were a lot of wonderful events going on there in the Main Beach community. And so Eddie Lynn in particular, if there's anything you can do to kind of move it along to get the proper funding, we really appreciate it. Also, Danny Westney's column also in the Times said that since 2021, a county purchased property, Queen Anne Motel, which is for sheltering people, was purchased and is still since idle. So we can do better than that as far as getting it's paid for. Let's get that moving because babies are sleeping on the street. And then also, Tyler Lockett, Seahawks player, he has donated his entire $5 million in recent tour winnings and sponsorship earnings to build a series of homeless support centers. Surely we can match what he's doing to get our community health. And I think lastly, I won't go into it today, but I have other ideas for housing options that I believe are affordable and doable. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Yvette. Following, we have Alexander Dean, and then Justin Baer, followed by Matthew.
Hi, Rob. Hi, Alexis. Okay, I had some prepared thing, but you know what? Fuck it. When are the police going to do their jobs and start arresting motherfuckers for, like, abducting people in the street, violently assaulting people? Like, can I get a show of hands from everyone in the room, and I mean y'all too, who here actually likes this? Okay, so no hands up. I don't see any hands. Okay, who here would like for some kind of basic accountability to be taken about, like, the very active, large scales of violence targeting specifically minority communities? Like, I would. Anybody else want that? Anybody? Yeah, see, like what the fuck is going on right now, right? Like they need warrants, they need to identify themselves. That's like basic law enforcement procedure. Like, fucking, what the fuck, man? Like, what the actual fucking hell? I know I'm swearing a lot, but like, this is some real bullshit. The president's hosting Al-Qaeda leaders in the White House. We have armed thugs grabbing people off the street. Like, y'all you can tell the police to enforce the laws that are already on the books, right? Like, that's actually your job and theirs. Like, I don't get it, man. I genuinely am like very confused why no one is doing this. Has anybody been on a call with the SPD and been like, hey, maybe check that they have a warrant and it's not just some guy in a mask? Because like a woman got arrested, abducted, and raped in New York by some guys pretending to be ICE a couple months ago. That's been happening. They need to be confirming this stuff, and the only way to confirm that it's actual law enforcement is a badge and a warrant. That's what those are there for. So if they don't have a badge and they don't have a warrant, is that law enforcement? I'm serious. This is a real question. Can somebody answer it? Is it still law enforcement if they flagrantly violate law enforcement procedure? No answer. Does anybody have an answer to this question? Is it still law enforcement if they're violating the freaking law?
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Thank you, Mr. Dean. Next, we have Justin, followed by Matthew, and then followed by Sonia. Hello, Justin.
I'm Justin, resident of Queen Anne and member of Workers Strike Back. Thanks also to the Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression for mobilizing today. Trump's ICE agents are deporting and murdering working people. Mayor Wilson and the City Council could declare today that the City of Seattle is stopping all collaboration with ICE, period. Mayor Wilson and the City Council can create municipal IDs which are local ID cards to help immigrant community members access services without triggering ICE. Such IDs can also help reduce the number of arrests from routine stops, according to the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. The Democratic Party created, funded, and expanded ICE, like Washington Congressman Adam Smith, who voted to create ICE. He also sent tens of billions of dollars of weapons for the genocide in Gaza. In Seattle, Democrats expanded the police budget and added this surveillance system. City Council and Mayor should immediately shut that down. We need independent working class leaders like Shama Sawant, who led the movement to win a ban on police use of crowd control weapons in 2020, a ban that was later overturned by Democrats on the Seattle City Council. Shama's called for shutting down ICE. That's why I'm fighting to elect her to Congress. We urgently need mass protests and strike actions nationally. We need strikes like the one just announced by the labor movement in Minnesota for January 3rd. I urge the MLK Labor Council here in Seattle area also to call a strike and shut down January 3rd and mobilize tens of thousands of union members. If you're a rank and file union member, and even if you're not, join Workers Strike Back and help us organize. Shut down ICE! 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 Shut down ICE!
Thank you, Justin. Next we have Matthew, followed by Sonia, and then Willow. Hello, Matthew. Welcome. Thank you for coming today.
Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Matthew. I am also a member of Workers Strike Back. As Justin said, Trump's ICE agents are terrorizing our cities. Thousands of immigrant working and poor people are being grabbed off the streets, and right now, peaceful activist and Mother Renee Good was just murdered by ICE agents in Minneapolis. To echo what Justin said, we urgently need mass protests and strike action nationally. We need the strikes like the one that was just announced by the labor movement in Minnesota for January 23rd. If you're a rank and file union member, and even if you're not, join Workers Strike Back and help us to get organized. As Justin said, the Seattle City Council is all Democrats, and Mayor Katie Wilson is also a Democrat. I've seen multiple articles about how the new mayor and the City Council are progressive. If that is true, you need to show that in action, not through abstract or performative posturing. Mayor Wilson and the City Council could do a lot right now, and I'm going to echo what Justin just said. Mayor Wilson and the City Council could declare today that the City of Seattle is stopping all collaboration with ICE, period. That's right. Mayor Wilson and the City Council can create municipal IDs, which are local ID cards to help immigrant community members access services without triggering ICE. Such IDs can also help reduce the number of arrests from routine stops, as Justin said, according to the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. ICE routinely uses local surveillance databases like driver location data and public CCTV cameras to track people with the help of local police departments. Seattle is huge on police surveillance, with new CCTV cameras and a real-time crime center recently being approved by the former mayor and the City Council, despite opposition and serious concerns about the privacy and misuse of data. Even though the Keep Washington Working Act prohibits police from sharing surveillance data with ICE, Seattle police have a systematic history of inappropriately using surveillance, including giving data to ICE and using it to spy on political groups. This is why I'm fighting for Shama Sawant's independent working class campaign for U.S. Congress, which is calling for shutting down ICE and stopping all deportations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew. Next, we have Sonia, followed by Willow, Sam, White, and then Madalena. I hope I said your name right. I apologize. Madalena, I said it right? Magdalena, my bad. I got you. Okay, Sonia, welcome.
Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back, and I'm talking to you today, but I'm also talking to all the people watching at home. We know that this city council is all Democrats and that Mayor Katie Wilson is a Democrat. And I keep seeing how in the papers how you're very progressive, and I want to know how you're going to show that you're progressive. You know, are you going to do an actual action or just, you know, say things that sound good? For example, as has already been mentioned, you can take action. You can declare that the city is stopping all collaboration with ICE right now, period. And to Mayor Wilson, the police department reports to you directly. You can publicly prohibit the police or any city department from sharing any of the data that you're gathering with ICE. The thing is, though, working people really need the kind of leadership and the fight back that we had when Shama Sawant was in office. For a whole decade, she won the nation's highest minimum wage and a tax on Amazon, the wealthiest corporation in the history of the world. Shama's office led the movement to win a historic first ever ban of police use of crowd control weapons in 2020. Unfortunately, a ban that was later overturned by the Democrats on this city council. The Democratic politicians have absolutely failed to fight back against Trump. In fact, they aided and abetted them. In fact, some of the members of this city council attempted to undermine our workers' minimum wage victory back in like 2024 and to undermine other renters' rights by working class renters in Shama's office. So what we really need is a new party. And yeah, that's why I'm actually a member of Workers Strike Back, because I don't believe in the Republicans or the Democrats at all. Oh, thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Sonia. Next, we have Willow, Sam White, and then Magdalena. Hi, Willow. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you. My name's Willow. I'm also a member of Workers Strike Back, and I am also here to speak to the City Council and to everyone in this room and watching this online about, what really is needed to fight ICE in our communities. I think everyone here is extremely concerned. Someone already asked everyone to do a show of hands. I don't think anyone in this room right now is, happy with what's happening, and everyone, is here because they share this concern. And I think, it's not enough to just say that we stand with immigrant communities. It's not enough to simply, have, these vague gestures of support. Like there's concrete actions that the City Council and Mayor Katie Wilson have the power to do and to act on to protect the most vulnerable in our communities right now. And I think anything short of the kinds of actions that have already been listed is absolutely an abdication of duty and a failure to take that stand, and really just plays right into the hands of Donald Trump and the right wing in this country. And so, I think we absolutely should be joining with Shama Sawant, calling for getting ICE out of our communities, abolishing ICE, shutting down the detention centers. And I think that, concretely, fighting for, prohibiting the police and the city department from sharing any data with ICE, from, stopping the use of these, this surveillance data and capturing this information on citizens that can be used against people. In closing, I just want to say, when immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back! When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back!
Thank you, Willow. Next, we have Sam, followed by Magdalena. Hello, Sam. Welcome. It's good to see you.
My name's Sam. I'm a resident in the Judkins Park area of Seattle. And yeah, I'm volunteering with Shama Sawant's campaign. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back. And I just think this is one of these moments where it is really an opportunity to show that it's not empty talk. There are a lot of people right now who are looking for leadership of the various cities, many of whom are led by Democratic Party politicians, to show that it's not just talk when they say shut down ICE, when you have Mayor Jacob Frey, a Democratic Mayor Jacob Frey in Minneapolis, telling ICE to get the fuck out. Put your money where your mouth is. I mean, there are concrete things that have been mentioned that the city councilors here today can be doing. I think there's a powerful example of the type of leadership that working people are looking for in the legacy of Shama Sawant's council office. The last time there was a a wave of these protests, and it's, not just saying the slogans, but mobilizing working people. I thank everybody who's coming out today and participating in this. This is what we need, is working people to get organized, fight for things like a ban, the ban on crowd control weapons that was passed through Shama City Council office. So right now, yeah, if you're a progressive, you need to show that in action you are fighting to stop, to stop the collaboration with ICE. It's one thing to say it, another thing to actually show resistance. So yeah, I echo the call that Mayor Wilson, the City Council today, should declare today that the City of Seattle is stopping all collaboration with ICE, period. To stop using these local surveillance databases, to stop any sort of illusion that it's going to be different because there's well-intentioned progressives on this city council. There should be no tracking of driver location data, of using these CCTV cameras to track people, to hand that information over to the same police departments that have repressed protest movements time and time again. Yeah, so thank you all very much. ICE out now. ICE out now. ICE out now.
Thank you, Sam. I understand, and we all agree as well. There's not one person that disagrees. Now we're gonna figure out after the statements, what does that look like? So I hear you. Next we have Magdalena. We have, no, you're good. Thank you, Mr. Dean. Magdalena, welcome.
Hello, my name is Magdalena Ware. I'm from Capitol Hill, and I'm a member of the Industrial Workers of the World. Regarding ICE, I remind this body that hell is hot, ice melts, all cops are bastards, and no one is illegal on stolen land. You have a moral duty as politicians in this city to return as much of this land to the Duwamish Nation as possible, and history will judge you on your capacity to do so and to be good allies and good neighbors to the original people, because after America is long gone, the Duwamish Nation will still be here. Regarding veterans in this city, we are in a mental health crisis, and the national VA and administrative bodies have abandoned us and are run by fascists. Our doctors and veterans have been abandoned. You must use the bully pulpit to advocate for more mental health resources for Seattle's veterans. This comment was supposed to be left with the mayor's office. Unfortunately, I received a transphobic hate speech from an employee named Shelley. And that's unconscionable and must be dealt with. I walked here alone from Cal-An. Next time, I'll walk here with 20 trans women. 2 weeks after that, I'll walk here with 100 trans women. Transphobia will not be tolerated from any of you or from a socialist administration. We put you here, we will put you back in private life. Progressive politicians do not have the convenience of astroturfing or large dollar donations. And the fact that the mayor's office is not publicly available for commentary and to engage with people like me is unconscionable and is a betrayal of the class interests of the people who elected Katie Wilson. So I expect Katie Wilson to do what she can to open up the mayor's office, and I expect the rest of you to fight for veterans and trans people in this city, or else.
Thank you, Magdalena. Next we have Long, followed by Jason. We have Long, and just 1 second, Long, your time won't start until I'm gonna say other people's names. Jason and then Gwendolyn, followed from, so Long, Jason, Gwendolyn. Welcome, Long.
All right, my name's Long. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back. Democratic Party politicians have completely failed to fight against Trump. In fact, Democrats have aided and abetted Trump. 115 Democrats in the US House, including warmongering and genocidal Democrat Adam Smith, just voted to authorize over $900 billion in US spending on weapons and war. Adam Smith, Maria Cantwell, Patty Murray all voted to create ICE and repeatedly vote to fund ICE. All of these three have also voted for tens of billions of dollars for the genocide in Gaza. Adam Smith is bankrolled by Palantir, the dystopian corporation that contracts with ICE. Smith and the Democratic Party have paved the way for Trump's attacks on immigrants and working people. This is why I'm a volunteer with Shama Sawant's independent socialist anti-war campaign for Congress against Adam Smith. Shama is campaigning to stop all deportations and shut down ICE, to end imperialist wars, including the U.S. attacks on Venezuela, to end all U.S. military aid to Israel. She is fighting for free healthcare for all by taxing the rich, national rent control, and canceling student and medical debt. We need to send the first ever revolutionary socialist to Congress and turn politics on its head in Washington, D.C., elect Shama Sawant for U.S. Congress. Along with this, right now in Minnesota, leaders from unions, faith groups, community leaders are leading the fight for a mass strike action in Minnesota. And I think that leaders in this community should follow in that lead as well. We need to shut things down. We need to make sure that the billionaires are terrified of us working people. We need to call on strike action and organize for a mass working class party. And that's why I'm with Shama's campaign. Stop the deportation, shut down ICE. Stop the deportation, shut down ICE. Stop the deportation, shut down ICE. Stop the deportation, shut down ICE.
Thank you, Long. Next, we have Jason, followed by Gwendolyn, and then Robert. Welcome, Jason.
My name is Jason, and I'm a member of Workers Strike Back and a volunteer for Shama's Independent Socialist Campaign for U.S. Congress. ICE is terrorizing our cities. They're kidnapping our friends, families, and community members. They just brutally murdered Renee Good, a peaceful activist and mother in Minneapolis, just blocks away from where George Floyd was murdered almost 6 years ago. The Seattle City Council is entirely Democrats. The mayor of Seattle, Katie Wilson, as other people have said, is also a Democrat and calls herself a progressive. Many members of this city council call themselves progressive. But what the fuck is progressive about helping ICE with the violent abductions and murders of working people? Words do not mean anything without action to back it up. Joy Hollingsworth, you just talked about how everybody on this council agrees with that. But if you mean what you said, you would have, this council, this mayor would have cut ICE out of this city years, last year when the ICE raid started. You would have been actually fighting back against the deportations. And yet, instead of that, in 2024, Joy Hollingsworth is the one who put forward an attack on the minimum wage that was won by Shama's council office and working people in this city. They tried to create a sub-minimum wage for 200,000 minimum wage workers in this city. As others have said, Wilson and the city council could immediately stop any cooperation with ICE agents by any arm of the city government. They could halt any use of SPD resources, surveillance, etc. for ICE raids. They could create municipal ID cards so that immigrants could access city resources and programs without triggering ICE. Most importantly, they could be using their offices and platforms to start to build the kind of national movement that is needed to shut down ICE in the detention centers. They should be calling for mass strike action in the city and nationally. We urgently need strike action, like what has been called in Minneapolis that others have mentioned. These city council members should be calling for the same thing here in Seattle. We should be shutting this city down and making Seattle an example of what we can do nationally and what other working people in cities across the country should be doing. Stop the deportations, shut down ICE. Stop the deportations, shut down ICE. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back.
Thank you, Jason. Next, we have Gwendolyn, followed by Robert, and then Olive Lacey. Welcome, Gwendolyn.
I'm Gwendolyn Hart. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back, and I also volunteer with Shama Sawant's campaign for Congress. Already heard people speak today about what steps City Council and the mayor should immediately be taking. So just what should working people do about this ourselves? In Minnesota, where Renee Good was killed, unions are organizing for a mass strike on January 23rd. We need more of this type of action, and we need mass protests and strike action on the national level to fight back against the deportation machine and shut down ICE. I call on MLK Labor Council to match this call and turn out thousands of union members on the 23rd as well. And labor leaders should have already been doing this back when Mahmoud Khalil, a union member and leader, was abducted by ICE for standing with Palestine. And working people, we can't throw ourselves on the mercy of the Democratic Party and expect things to work out. That's why I'm with Shama's campaign for Congress. Democratic Party politicians have helped build Trump's deportation machine year after year, voting to create it, to fund it, to expand it. 115 House Democrats just voted to approve a $900 billion war budget, including our opponent Adam Smith. That budget funded the coup in Venezuela. I'm glad the City Council says they agree, But the last city council attacked our minimum wage and failed, attacked our renters' rights and failed. Victories that Shama Sawant fought and won, and members who supported those attacks are still on city council today. Working people remember those attacks, remember who was behind them, will remember what you do or don't do today. When working people are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrants are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
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 ICE out now!
ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now!
Solidarity.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Gwendolyn. Next, we have Robert, followed by Olive, and then Jonathan. Hi, Robert. And then Olive, you are next, and then Jonathan, you are next. Welcome, Robert.
Hi.
Hello.
Which one?
Any mic you feel most comfortable at. That one's taller, so you don't have to hunch over if you want to.
I'm Robert Engel. I'm a member of the Seattle Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. I was born in this city. I was raised in this city. I love this city, and I love the people in this city. That's why I'm excited to see a new, more progressive council. We want to thank Council Member Alexis Mercedes Rinks' office for their prompt response to our open letter to the City Council, asking for, open opposition to these terrorist ICE attacks on our people. We think our open letter is not controversial. We're asking that all council members sign on to our letter immediately. We understand the City Council passed a resolution last May reaffirming our status, or their support for our status as a welcoming city. I think that could be stronger. I think we could reaffirm that position at the very least, and we certainly need a vocal support for these demands from the entire City Council, right? If we're all in agreement here, we find, our demands pretty uncontroversial, we think we're past time for a welcoming city. We don't welcome ICE agents in our city, right? We want safety for our people. We want justice for Keith Porter Jr. And we want justice for Renee and Nicole Good. And that looks like ICE out of our city for good. ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now!
ICE out now! ICE out now! ICE out now!
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Next, we have Olive, followed by Jonathan, and then Cleo. I think this is C-L-I-O. Hopefully I said your name correctly. No disrespect. Just a little bad at reading handwriting. Olive, Jonathan, Cleo, followed by Kevin, followed by former Councilmember Shama Sawant, and then Brett. Any mic is good. Thank you. Welcome.
My name is Olive, and I'm an organizer here in Seattle. Last time I was here, I was with my organization, the Seattle Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, demanding justice for Christian Nelson and Jack Paley. I am here again with the Seattle Alliance, this time demanding ICE out of Seattle. ICE out of Seattle.
ICE out of Seattle. ICE out of Seattle.
That's right. This is supposed to be a welcoming city. There is nothing less welcoming than having masked thugs kidnap your family members, your friends, your community members, all under the guise of keeping our city safe from criminals. The real criminals are the ones abducting, assaulting, raping, and murdering our neighbors who just want to live their lives in peace. This is so wrong. We need ICE out of our city. ICE out of Seattle.
ICE out of Seattle. ICE out of Seattle. ICE out of Seattle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Olive. Next, we have Jonathan, followed by Cleo and Kevin. So Jonathan, Cleo, Kevin. Jonathan, Cleo, Kevin. Welcome, Jonathan. Either mic works, whatever you feel comfortable with.
My name is Jonathan. I am the branch chair of the Seattle Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. And last night, we sent an email. In this email, it laid out a number of things, and they were all centered around one fundamental aspect: how we keep the streets of Seattle safe from ICE. Now, when I woke up this morning, it was a little bit of a late start, but what I had expected was to see that all of these council members in front of me would have replied to this email. It's your job. It's the only thing that we ask of you. And to my surprise, the only one who had replied was Alexis Mercedes Rink. So to her, I am thankful. And to the others, I say, what are you doing? While our streets are being terrorized, you are here up in city council, and we hear nothing from you. I've talked to a few of these city council members before when I've said as well that they need to go visit the vigil of Kristen Nelson, but I've never seen them there. They stand here and they do not, interact with people who make up the community. And in that email, we had demanded that, that you defend sanctuary cities and that you end ICE raids in our city, that you stop ICE and protect our communities, and that we want ICE out of Seattle. And for that, we want you to sign on to this letter that we sent, for you can make it happen. And we demand to have a meeting about what steps will be taken right away to keep ICE off the streets of the city. And, if the next words after public comment are not, what are your availability for we can meet to have a meeting to address these concerns, we'll be mad. So I'll say it again. ICE out of Seattle. ICE out of Seattle. ICE out of Seattle. ICE out of Seattle.
Thank you, Jonathan. Next, we have Cleo, followed by Kevin, and then former Councilmember Shama Sawant. Hi, Cleo. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. My name is Cleo. I'm also a member of the Seattle Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression. Like others have said, we sent an email last night to every member of City Council asking you all to immediately sign on to our demands to stop ICE and to end all collaboration with ICE, including immediately removing the surveillance cameras that were installed so that federal agents cannot use them and ICE agents cannot use them, because we all know and we have seen that ICE does not care about the law. So any surveillance that is being used against the people of Seattle, we have to assume ICE will be using against our immigrant friends, neighbors, and coworkers. And the Seattle City Council can do more and must do more. And you have seen that your city wants you to do more. Mass mobilizations have been happening around Seattle since Renee Good was shot and killed in cold blood on January 7th. And she is one of many, many people across the country and here in Seattle and in Tacoma at the Northwest Detention Center who have been killed and have died in custody at the hands of ICE. ICE is escalating its attacks, and that means that we must escalate the fight back. And we're looking to you all as representatives of the people of Seattle to help us lead that charge, because the people are leading that charge, and you all need to meet us where we are and to demand that ICE stops killing us, killing our neighbors. You can do that. We need you to sign on to that letter now. We need you to do actionable things right now and stop collaboration with ICE. ICE out of Seattle. 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 Thank you.
Thank you, Cleo. Next, we have Kevin, followed by former Councilmember Sawant, and then Barrett.
Hello.
Hello, you're good. Anytime you start, the time will start, so take your time. Go ahead.
Hello. My name is. Huh? Oh, okay.
Can we restart the time so it's a full 2 minutes? All right, awesome. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello. My name is Kevin Rosewood, and I am a teacher. And already at my job, it is my main concern is to keep the children that I teach safe. And I've already had to keep them safe from lockdowns in the past years that I've had to work with at the place that I work with. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, with ICE coming into our city and terrorizing us, that's just more on my plate. And with you claiming that we are a sanctuary city, I find that that's just lip service with ICE coming in and taking people from our community, despite you guys saying we're a sanctuary city. I work with people from all sorts of backgrounds, and I have children and families from all sorts of backgrounds. And I'm tired of living in fear that one day my classroom is just going to be raided. And I'm tired of living in fear, and I'm waiting for you guys to actually live up to your promise that we're a sanctuary city. So we want safety. We'll tell you how. Defend our sanctuary city now. We want safety. We'll tell you how. Defend our sanctuary city now. We want safety. We'll tell you how. Defend our sanctuary city now. Thank you.
Welcome.
Trump's ICE agents are terrorizing our cities. Thousands of immigrant, working, and poor people are being grabbed off the street, and now peaceful activist and mother Renee Good was just murdered by ICE agents in Minneapolis. Violent coup has just happened against Venezuela, and there's a continuing genocide of the Palestinian people. We need mass protest and strike actions urgently. I urge the MLK Labor Council leadership to call a protest jointly with the labor movement in Minneapolis, who have organized or were organizing a strike action, statewide strike on January 23rd. The bitter truth, however, is that the labor leadership has mostly utterly failed to lead any struggle, even though there is massive hunger among tens of millions of American working people for a fight back against Trump and the billionaire class. Whether it is shutting down ICE, stopping the attacks against immigrants, to end the genocide in Gaza, to tax billionaires, to bring about universal health care. The majority of the working class is strongly supportive of these issues, yet no leadership has been provided. Why? It's because the labor leadership in America is tied to the Democratic Party, and the problem is that the Democratic Party is not a so-called lesser evil. It is, along with the Republican Party, one of the two most powerful parties of global capitalism. And the reason the Democratic Party politicians have completely failed to fight against Trump is because they also represent the agenda of Wall Street and war. And do not make the mistake of thinking that local Democrats are any different, because it's the same party and the same agenda that is pro-Wall Street. That is why I am running as an independent, anti-war, working-class socialist for U.S. Congress. My opponent, Adam Smith, is bankrolled by people like CEO of Palantir, Alexander Karp. The Asia Times said Karp is building the operating system for perpetual war. So these are the kind of wonderful guys that Adam Smith is bankrolled by. I have pledged that if I am elected, I will turn my congressional inauguration in Washington, D.C. into a mass rally of 10,000 people and immediately launch national campaigns and movements to end the genocide in Gaza, to shut down ICE, and to win free healthcare for all, funded by taxing the rich. The working class absolutely needs a new party for ourselves, because the Democrats and Republicans are failing us. Down with the Republicans and Democrats. We need a party of the working class. Down with Republicans and Democrats.
We need a party of the working class.
Down with Republicans and Democrats.
We need a party of the working class.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Howard Gale, followed by M. Smith, M. Murray, and Summer Miller. Is Howard Gale here? Good to see you. Hello, Mr. Howard Gale. I'm serious. It's good to see everyone here. It's good to see you.
Thank you. And I just want to start out by thanking President Hollingsworth for being gracious with the time and also being gracious with respecting the people. So thank you. I'm not going to go through I made a lot of the comments to public safety this morning, and a lot of people, I don't want to reiterate things that have been said. What is needed right now, it's not sufficient to only ask SPD officers to not help ICE. We need to start demanding that SPD officers affirmatively help people facing First and Fourth Amendment violations. It's not even a question of immigrants. It's a question of anyone at this point. Hundreds of thousands of Seattleites are now under threat and attack. I want to focus on something that happened 2 weeks ago. In the South End, a right-wing YouTuber went knocking on doors of Somali daycares, panicking and threatening people. Here's the point. When the police showed up, they actually said, "Hey, dude, really like your YouTube channel." If that wasn't bad enough, when a Somali member of the community told the police that a gun was shown and displayed as an act of intimidation, and the police asked the right-wing provocateur about that, he claimed he simply leaned back, revealing his gun. And the police accepted that. That happened 2 weeks ago. In September, we have lots of videos online when the same provocateur was in West Seattle and people were fearful that he was an ICE agent. What was the police response? To simply say, "I'd be okay with that." These are all on YouTube right now. So with my 16 seconds left, the 36 Democrats overwhelmingly passed a resolution to demand police take action to protect people from First and Fourth Amendment violations. Every one of you got that resolution 4 months ago. It needs to be acted upon. And to be clear, this is not in conflict with the Supremacy Clause. This is demanding that police officers that swear an oath to the Constitution uphold the Constitution.
Thank you, Mr. Gill.
It's not an issue of supremacy. This is something that could be done tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Gill.
Please do that.
Before we have M, if you give me one, I actually skipped over Barrett. I apologize. Before we go, before M, Barrett, would you like to speak? I apologize. I didn't call your name.
Too remote as well.
Is Barrett here?
Or is it Bennett?
Bennett. What the heck? I'm sorry. Bennett, you were looking at me like I was stupid, and I am stupid because I called you the wrong name. I'm sorry. Bennett. No, I know your name is Bennett. I was like, I'm sorry. Bennett, welcome.
Well, I was wondering what that was. It's like, is that me? Do I have time to go to the bathroom, or is that me next on
No,
the
come on,
schedule?
Bennett.
Okay, here we are. So in addition to reiterating what everybody else has said about getting ICE the hell out of Seattle, since the spring and the summer are approaching again, about this time last year, there were a number of extreme right-wing anti-LGBTQ groups applying for permits to hold concerts and rallies on public property in the city of Seattle. Now, to be clear, they do have the First Amendment right to reserve a spot to have their views expressed. I find their views abhorrent, and to be clear, these are not friendly people that just happen to have mildly anti-LGBTQ views. Their rally was specifically called Hands Off Our Kids, i.e. accusing gay and trans people of being child molesters. What they stand for is appalling. They do have the First Amendment right to book public property for their events. However, the arrests and the clashes that were caused last year were because they said they did not want people who were not aligned with their beliefs to be able to come to the event and document what they were saying. There were several of them where I thought, I'm not going to start fights with them, but I wanted on the public record what they are saying at these rallies. I want to go in and record, and they were saying no. And the SPD officers that were on hand, they said, well, we're just going to do what the people organizing this gathering tell us. They shouldn't have. They should have said, if your rally is on public property, anybody who's not starting violence is allowed to go in and record what you are saying. And the one event that went off without a hitch was at the third one at Gasworks. They finally got it right. They said, okay, there's going to be an area here where people can protest. If you also want to go into the event and record, you can do that. And that was the event that went off with any arrest because people were allowed to protest and they were allowed to record what was going on. And I think that is the appropriate response because I know you're all on the same side as far as considering what they stand for to be disgusting bigotry, but we should have the right to protest it. Because if they want to regulate what we do in the SAC, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. That's right.
Thank you, Bennett. Next, we have M, and then M. Murphy, and then Summer Miller, followed by Mr. Zimmerman. Welcome, M.
Hi, my name's M. Smith. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back. I live in Seattle. We need to drive ICE out of our cities and stop these deportations. We urgently need mass protests and strike action to shut down ICE, stop the deportations, drive them out of Seattle. Shama Sawant has been calling for this. Which Democrats on this council are using their offices to call for mass protests? Which Democrats on this council are calling for mass strike action? Which Democrats are helping us to defeat Adam Smith, a genocidal Democrat who voted to create ICE, is funded by Palantir and pro-Trump billionaires? Which one of you has endorsed Shama Sawant's campaign for Congress? If you aren't willing to fight against the Democratic Party, if you aren't willing to fight against pro-genocide Democrats like Adam Smith who voted to create ICE, we are never going to stop ICE. We are never going to stop these deportations. And the Democrats are not going to do this. We need working people here to get organized together to do this, to put mass pressure on the Democratic Party, on the Republican Party, to force them to change, because they are never going to do this on their own. We should have had strike action months ago when the anti-genocide activists Mahmoud Khalil and Rumeysa Ozturk, both of them union members, were abducted by ICE. We need strikes like the one that was just announced by the labor movement in Minnesota for January 23rd, and we need to get organized. If you're a rank and file union member, or even if you're not, join Workers Strike Back. Help us get organized. And we have, just to speak on the attacks on the Somali community as well, we are seeing attacks on all oppressed communities, and the Somali community has faced vicious attacks from the Trump administration and the right wing. Shama's campaign for Congress and Workers Strike Back are holding a meeting in solidarity with the Somali community this Sunday at 7 p.m. You should talk to me, get in touch with us, go to shamasawant.org. We're gonna have information about that meeting to get organized urgently to fight back against this. But we have to get organized independently of these two corporate parties, both of which have built this deportation machine, both of which have built Trump's war machine, and we have to fight back and build a movement to win these demands that we're fighting for now. It is the bare minimum that the Democrats on this council pass the things that we've been calling for today, to stop all cooperation with ICE and end this terror in our cities.
Thank you, Mr. Zim. Thank you. Mr. Zimmerman, please refrain from interrupting. M. Murray, Summer Miller, and then Mr. Zimmerman, you are last to speak for in person. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Murphy, and I think all funding for ICE needs to be ended. I remember learning about ICE in the early 2000s, I think it was around 06. I was wondering, why are people not organizing now? Because of the degree of the severity of their inhumanity of snatching children up from their parents. You know, when they were going to school, they were being dropped off. These people who are immigrants are not criminals. The criminals are ICE. The way ICE thinks, the way the US military thinks is criminal. And all of that money and resources could go to funding education, could go to building infrastructure and society so people can communicate with each other in a humane way. And now, this is brutal. It's psycho. I'm reading about they're arresting people who are citizens. They're killing people now that and that didn't do anything. And there's such a long record of the severity of ICE, you know, that I've heard about. And then the whole idea of placing somebody in a tiny cell at a detention center and shipping them off, and they didn't do anything wrong. They're just trying to survive. They're trying to go to work, have a family. They're working for lower wages, and they're exploited for that reason, for their vulnerable position. And that's the whole idea of a capitalist society, is easily exploiting workers. If there were more labor united with each other, you know, that would be the more humane vision. I'm reading about Venezuela, and it's actually, they have a series of communes, like 4,500 to 5,000 communes, and they get to democratically control the oil resources. They're centralized. The money from the oil is like decided by the community, and that's not how America is run, and it could be. And oil is even so outdated, it's so disgusting to keep putting oil in the atmosphere. So ICE is just another disgusting toxic waste spillage.
Thank you. Next, we have Summer Miller, and then it's followed by you, Mr. Zimmerman. Welcome, Summer. Could you, oh, go ahead, Summer.
My name is Summer Miller. I'm a member of Workers Strike Back in Seattle. There is absolutely zero reason that the Democrats on this council can't act today to end all cooperation with ICE to create municipal ID cards for immigrants and repeal the installation of surveillance cameras and take real action to drive ICE out of Seattle. In fact, that's the bare minimum you should do, and you should immediately vote on those things today. Democratic Party politicians have completely failed to fight against Trump, and in fact, Democrats have aided and abetted Trump. Adam Smith, the Democratic Congress member in Washington, who Shama Sawan is running to defeat, is bankrolled by Palantir. Palantir is a dystopian corporation that receives tens of millions in contracts with ICE. Democratic President Barack Obama still holds the record for the largest number of deportations. Smith and the Democratic Party have paved the way for Trump's attacks on immigrants and working people. This is why I'm a volunteer with Shama Sawan's Independent Socialist anti-war campaign for Congress to defeat Adam Smith and take on both billionaire-backed parties who have built Trump's deportation machine. Working people need the kind of leadership and fight back that Shama Sawan brought in her decade as a Seattle City Council member. We need leaders who will call for mass protests, mass civil disobedience, and mass strike action to stop these attacks on immigrants and working people. We need leaders who build movements to win the things working people need. Not just shutting down ICE, but fighting for free healthcare for all by taxing the rich, national rent control, and ending all US military aid to Israel. We need to send the first ever revolutionary socialist to Congress and turn politics on its head in Washington, D.C. Come to the Workers' Strike Back meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. That's in the Central District of Seattle at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church to organize to shut down ICE, stop deportations, and discuss the mass strike action desperately needed to stop these attacks and the war in Venezuela. And as Em said, this Sunday at 7 p.m., we're having a meeting in solidarity with the Somali community that is, as she said, is under attack by the Trump administration. Talk to one of us after public comment. Get involved with the campaign. Let's organize together.
Thank you, Summer. Mr. Zimmerman?
Thank you very much. Yeah. Happy New Year, my lovely clown. I come to you because you're so beautiful. The last time new chair talked about respect. I don't understand what does mean word respect. Yeah. Mean respect my 20 trespasses for 5 years who I cannot do in this. There's a problem what is we have in Seattle, and I speak here for 30 plus years. We don't have law in Seattle. We have a junta, them Nazi fascist junta, who can do in everything what they want. Why we need ICE? What is we need this crook? Why is we need democratic mafia? Why? We have a law, a constitution, who exists for 250 years. And I talk to you about 30 years. Guys, use law what is we have in America. Use something what is everybody supposed to be understand, because they children who care, they don't understand how law working. They don't know what is mean law. It's a problem what is we have. So we have right now one man who come and talking. We want bring America back. I remember this America. I remember everybody doing by law and constitution. You not. Why? Because you don't teach these children what is mean law and constitution. It's a problem what is we have. All problem come from you because you are crook, and I see this for 30 years and nothing changed. You all identical year by year, year by year. You like same crook, same clown, same criminal with bandita. You are bandita, you understand? People who not respect constitutional law is ordinary mafia guy. You are real bandita. So that's exactly what is I want talking about. Law and constitution. Viva Trump, viva new American Revolution. Stand up, poor people.
So next we have, all right, so next we're going to go to online speakers. We're just going to go to online speakers, all right? We still have online speakers, you all, just real quick. We have Rose followed by David Haynes. You're going to press *6, Rose.
Hello, my name is Rose. I am someone that's in the International District. I am here because I am concerned like everyone else here about ICE. Last June, I went and talked to the city council about the fact that people were being kidnapped in the federal building. And unfortunately, at that time, the city council did nothing about it. The city council didn't seem to take much action. Councilmember Rink was very kind and did show up to the building to be there on behalf of people, but that city council decided to not do anything to make sure that these kidnappings didn't continue. And here we are today. You all here have a unique decision today to decide whether or not we get to, or if our community is continually cowering in fear, or whether we get to have actual change that happens. It is not a pie in the sky thing to ask for the city council to say that we need to ban things like the flock cameras, which have been reported to be used by ICE to track everyone in Washington. This is not only just a problem, not as if that's like should be it by itself, but every single person, if they are decided to be an undesirable that the federal government doesn't want, can be tracked by ICE right now. That is everyone in the city council, that is the mayor, that is all of us, and that is why this needs to be, we need to get rid of the flock cameras. They've also been using location data from all of our phones. We should ban the third-party sale of location data from all of us. There's no reason why that should happen. There should be no cooperation between the city of Seattle and ICE. In fact, ICE needs to be arrested by SPD when they break the law. Philadelphia's mayor has said that Philadelphia's police chief said that they will arrest people if they break the law in Philadelphia. Why are we not expecting the same here? It is imperative that if we are going to talk about the rule of law or how important things are, that we are having the basic things. You're saying lots of words that are important. Make them matter.
Thank you, Rose. Next, we have Mr. David Haynes.
Hi, thank you, David Haynes. An innocent migrant has a right to live in peace and to be provided sanctuary and respect. And the same goes for an innocent homeless. Yet somehow we have a misconstrued of what constitutes a criminal and a customs violator that makes it unsafe for an innocent migrant that needs to leave a certain region, that we see the same violations ongoing in our streets, whether it's foreign or domestic. And there seems to be like a priority that Bruce Harrell left that was like kicked out of office because he tainted the integrity of police reform and shifted the paradigm away from improving the war on the drug pushers. And now the progressive Democrats are using all these drug addicts and repeat offenders to be prioritized for housing, taking all the capacity of homes that innocent houses are needed and innocent migrants need. And there seems to be like all these empty lives, miserable, sad people in Seattle living vicariously through what they see in the media that everybody else is doing, that they want to participate in, that takes over the agenda and allows for campaign announcements during the city council meetings. That doesn't have much on their agenda to work to improve the policies that Bruce Harrell left over to keep exacerbating the public safety crisis for the innocent community. And I hate to say this, but the drug pushers, the pimps, the crimps of progress, the human traffickers, whether they're foreign or domestic, they need to be shut down. And if the local community's policing wants to help save the community from continuously imploding instead of dispersing people around the corner and manipulating the data on the crime hotspots and claiming success while using an excuse of staffing, as they have plenty of cops to deploy for overtime at law-abiding events, but they don't have enough to shut down the evil predatory drug pushers. All
right, thank you. Are there any more registered speakers? None. So we have reached the end of the list of registered speakers, and the public comment is now closed. Jonathan, the first thing you said you wanted, it's Jonathan, right, with the hat? Yes, you said the first thing you wanted to know was our availability to meet. So we're here every Tuesday, you know that. But I have Alex, who's my office staff in the back, who will give you my schedule so we can sit and connect and meet. I don't know if you hear me at all. I know you're looking down, but I'm looking at you, my friend, who can meet, and I will connect with you one-on-one to have a conversation with whoever you want to bring, and we'll meet in person, and we'll meet wherever you want to in Seattle so we can talk about the letter that you sent, which I read, and I also read on your social media post as well. And I also am very familiar with the national organization as well, because I have actually read the book I've read the book, by Frank Chapman Jr., who was from St. Louis, and his book that he had and talked about revolution for communities. And I also saw the values that are online as well and what you all are fighting for. My only thing, I hear you, thank you, and that's why I walked it back. And it was a mistake. And so I walked it back, and I know you all will continue to remind me, and I get it, and I hear you, and I will listen, and I will stand side by side with you and hear what you are saying every single time, okay? So, thank you. So the next piece on here, I'll work around your schedule, Jonathan. I'll work around your schedule. I'm up every 11 a.m. Put it in your calendar. Put it in your calendar. I'm up every day at 5 a.m. I go and I leave this office at 9 p.m. Put it in your calendar at 11 a.m. No, we are not. It's not on the calendar for us, but I'm willing to talk about it. So next, if there's, we're gonna, and I hear you, there's no ICE collaboration. So let me speak, Councilmember Sawant. Let me say this to you all. You have, can I speak? Can I? One second. Can I hold on? I'm gonna take a point of privilege. Can I speak real quick? Just give me, John. I can't bring it up right now. Okay. Can I speak? Can I speak? Jonathan, can you be respectful? Just let me speak for 2 minutes. You have people on this council who are indigenous folks whose land was taken away from them. You have people, let me finish. This isn't tokenism. This is real. So let me tell you have people on this council. My last name is the last name of people that owned my family. You have people on this council, and if you want to laugh, you can go ahead. No, it's not. You have people. I'm getting to the point. I let you all speak for 2 minutes each so you all could hear. We could hear what you were saying. So let me finish what I'm saying. You have people on this council who are Jewish, whose families were in the Holocaust. Everyone understand. No, we're not. My action right now is to tell you all what we are doing, okay? And so, okay, thank you. I'm trying to connect with you human one-on-one, and I'm trying to tell you exactly where we're coming from in our perspective as a human, as a councils. So the second piece, okay, thank you. I hear you. Thank you, Mr. Dean. I hear you. Security, we're good. You guys stand back. We do not need it. These people have not shown any aggression. We're just having conversation. We're going to add to the dialogue and not the dysfunction or the divide at all, okay? So go ahead and step aside. If you guys just step aside all the way back. No aggression here at all. So we have... I understand. So where we're at right now is we have to continue our council business. If you all are not going to let us continue our council business, I have to step away so we continue the items on the agenda, and then I'm more than happy to have this conversation after council. So will you let us continue our business? Will you let us continue our business? Will you let us continue our business as a council? Will you let us continue our business? And I'll tell you our plan after the meeting. Will you let us continue our business? Okay. So right now, Mr. Dean, right now we're gonna go into recess. We're gonna go into a 10-minute recess to cool it out, and I'll judge and see if we can come back here. If not, we'll finish the council business in my office. Thank you so much. Recess.
You know that, right? Thank you, Joy Collins.
Thank you. We're going to return back, and will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Juarez. Here. Councilmember Kettle. Councilmember Lynn.
Here.
Councilmember Rink. Councilmember Rivera.
Present.
Councilmember Saka. Councilmember Strauss.
Here.
Councilmember Foster. Here. Council President Hollingsworth.
Yes, here. Oh, here.
6 present.
Awesome. Thank you. And please, the other council members, I know we might have started a little early from recess. They're excused until they return. And just a brief piece, after this meeting, following this meeting, more than happy to meet with anyone who wants to. We can meet in the Sam Smith room to talk about what your demands are. And let's talk about them, see if we can get to a place of common ground, okay? Sam Smith room after this meeting, more than happy to connect and meet with you. And I'll wait there for like 15 minutes and see if you come and meet with me. As long as you're respectful and we can have a dialogue, and that's all I want is a dialogue. I don't want to add to the disconnect, okay? Thank you. Right down here, walk across the bridge, and then go right into council offices, and Sam Smith's office is there. So if there's no objection, the introduction referral calendar will be adopted. Hearing no objection, the introduction and referral calendar is adopted. Let the record reflect that we're joined by Councilmember Kettle. Thank you, Councilmember Kettle. Oh, and I'm sorry, my bad, and Councilmember Saka. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Did I miss anyone? And Councilmember Rink. My bad. We have Councilmember Rink, Councilmember Kettle, Councilmember Saka in attendance, all 9 of us. So if there's no objection, the agenda will be adopted. Hearing none, the agenda is adopted. We're going to now consider the proposed consent calendar. Items of the consent calendar include the minutes of January 6, 2028, and Council Bill 121148, payment of the bills. Are there any items council members would like to remove from today's consent calendar? Hearing none, I move to adopt the consent calendar. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and second to adopt the consent calendar. Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the consent calendar?
Councilmember Juarez. Aye. Councilmember Kettle.
Aye.
Councilmember Lynn.
Aye.
Councilmember Rink.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivera.
Aye.
Councilmember Saka.
Aye.
Councilmember Strauss.
Aye.
Councilmember Foster. Council President Hollingsworth.
Yes.
9 in favor, none opposed.
The consent calendar items are adopted, and will the clerk please affix my signature to the minutes and legislation of the consent calendar on my behalf? Will the clerk please read item number 1 into the agenda?
The report of the Land Use Committee, Agenda Item 1, Council Bill 121-143, relating to floodplains, 10th extension of interim regulations established by Ordinance 126113 and as amended by Ordinance 126536 for an additional 6 months to allow individuals to rely on updated national flood insurance rate maps to obtain flood insurance through the Federal Emergency Management Agency's flood insurance program. The committee recommends the bill pass.
Awesome, thank you. Chair Lynn, I'm sorry, Councilmember Lynn, as chair of the committee, you're recognized to provide the committee report.
Thank you, President Hollingsworth. So this is the 10th extension of our interim FEMA floodplains regulations. Many of you have more experience with these than I do because of the many extensions going back to 2020. But just for the public, these are required so that folks can continue to get flood insurance, including homeowners. And my commitment as land use chair is that this will be the last extension before we develop final regulations that will bring forward so that we can stop with these interim extensions. Any questions or comments from others? You like the commitment? Absolutely. Understand.
It's amazing energy for the floodplain land use committee. Just so much. Thank you, Councilmember Lynn. Great energy. Are there any other comments to add to this? Any other comments? Awesome. Will the clerk please call the roll on the passage of the bill?
Councilmember Juarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Kettle. Councilmember Lynn.
Yes.
Councilmember Rink.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivera.
Aye.
Councilmember Saka.
Aye.
Councilmember Strauss.
Aye.
Councilmember Foster. Aye. Council President Hollingsworth.
Yes.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Bill passes, chair will sign it, and will the clerk please affix my signature to the legislation on my behalf? There were no items removed from the consent calendar, and there is not a resolution for introduction in or adoption today. Colleagues, is there any more further business to come to the council? Councilmember Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Council President Hollingsworth. I would like to please be excused from next week's council committee as I have Association of Washington Cities meeting that I will be attending.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilmember Rivera. Is there any objections? You are excused. Thank you, Councilmember Rivera. Councilmember Strauss.
Thank you, Council President. Same request as a board member of Association of Washington Cities, requesting to be excused next week, and then I have another topic in just a second.
Is there any objections? Seeing none, you are excused, Councilmember Strauss.
Thanks.
You are recognized for your second topic.
And Wednesday and Thursday, we'll be having City Action Days down in Olympia. If anyone's able to attend, we'd love to have you join. Now is my second topic. Colleagues, yesterday during council briefing, I discussed the interlocal agreement with the social housing developer. We are still on track to have that bill next Tuesday heard in the Finance, Native Communities, and Tribal Governments Committee. I've had some requests to have 2 briefings on it. I'm okay with that because there's a confirm and ratify clause in the legislation. When we spoke yesterday, I was still operating under the assumption that we needed 30 days passage ahead of time, so I was operating on a tighter timeline than what we have available, and I think it's better to have everyone come up to speed than to just rush right through.
Awesome. Thank you, Councilmember Strauss. Are there any questions? Awesome. Thank you. Colleagues, is there any further business to come before the council? This is just a reminder, anyone who wanted to speak during this, I want to thank the public commenters for coming down. It is their First Amendment right to peacefully protest every single time. And so thank you all for coming down. That is something that we'll continue to uphold and protect at this council. I also kindly ask that you also let us do the business of the body as well. I'm more than happy to meet with anyone at any time. As I told Jonathan before, I wake up at 5 a.m. I leave. I'm not going to tell y'all exactly what time I leave the office, but usually around 8 or 9 p.m. every single day, as a lot of these council members work incredibly hard every day and every night. But more than happy to meet with the folks in the Sam Smith room after this to discuss, what their demands are. I read the letter and more than happy to talk about that as well. So looking forward to that conversation. And so right now, is there any further business? It is 3:33 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.